Jai Hind everyone, I am Dr. Sneha Mishra, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, AKGEC Ghaziabad. So, as I am taking the course as Compiler Design. So, in the next previous lectures, we have discussed in detail about the phases of the compiler. Each and every phase has been covered in detail, and this lecture will be comprising of the the part of passes. So let's in this one slide we discuss about the phase. So since compiler is very complex program, so to understand the design of the compiler, it is logically divided into various subprograms called modules. So these subprograms are the modules are also called phases. Like, so all the phases which we have studied, why we have to divide our compiler into different phases, because those are the sub programs, because compilation is a very complex process. So that is why we divide our phases into we divide our that complex program into the sub programs that we call as the phases of the compiler. So, each phase or module accepts the representation of the program in the input. So, it's like for lexical analysis, the source program is the input. And for the syntax analysis, this tokens generated from the lexical analysis are the input. So, this is the whole gist, that all the phases are interconnected, and these phases are required because of the interconnection is required because of like it is a complex process, that to compile the each process, like to convert the high level language into the assembly language in one go. So, we have divided into the different phases. So, each phase so thus phase is nothing but a module of the compiler that accepts the representation of the program as the input and produces another representation of the program as output. So let's jump to passes, because in detail we have previous lectures about phases and we have discussed all the phases in detail. So no need to waste time on that. Let's come to the passes. So it is a group of one or more phases, like suppose lexical is one phase, then syntax is one phase, then semantic is one phase, right? So these are the phases. So it is saying that group of one or more phases of compiler that perform analysis. These all are analysis phase, right? That perform analysis or synthesis of the source program. You are aware of that what synthesis is? Synthesis is intermediate code generation, then code optimization, and then code generation. These are all synthesis, right? So, so the group of one or more phases of the compiler that perform analysis or synthesis of the source program is called the pass of the compiler. So even though the compiler is divided into various phases, in the actual implementation of the compiler, one or more phase may be grouped together into a pass. So each pass read an input file and writes the output file. So there may be different types of passes, one type pass, two type pass, three pass, multi-pass. So one by one we will be discussing about these passes. So now I think you understand that yes, we have phases in the compiler. We have 6 different phases in the compiler, but still we may require that 2 phases may be clubbed together, 3 phases may be clubbed together, 4 phases may be clubbed together. So that clubbing is called the one pass compiler or 2 pass compiler. So let's talk about one by one. One pass compiler. So what is one pass compiler? So if the analysis and the synthesis of the source program is done in one flow from the beginning to the end, like all 6 phases in one go from source to output via object program file. So this is one pass compiler when we are doing the program in one go. So if the analysis and synthesis of the source program is done in one flow from beginning to the end of the program, then the compiler is called the one pass compiler. So in case all the phases of compiler starting from the lexical analysis phase to the code generation phase are combined together in one unit to convert the source program into the object program in one flow, single flow. So that single pass compiler or a one pass compiler is beneficial because it simplifies the job of writing a compiler, because we have to write the compiler for each program, na? So it simplifies the job of writing a compiler. Then one pass compiler generally performs compilation faster than multi-pass compilers. Obviously, if all the job is done in one go, then it will be performing faster, right? So in one pass compiler, if the analysis and synthesis all can be done in one flow, then that is the one pass compiler. Let's move on. What is two pass compiler? So two pass compiler, if the analysis of the source program is done in one pass and synthesis of the source program is done in, like this is analysis and this is synthesis. All these phases, lexical plus syntax plus semantic, all these phases, and this code generation, then code optimization, then code generation, intermediate code generation. So if all these are in one pass and there is another pass for one pass, is it right? There are two passes, right? So one, here you are receiving the source program, जो भी you are receiving the syntax tree here, and you are giving the assembly language. Right? So your compiler is doing the analysis job in one pass and synthesis job in another pass. So if first three phases like lexical analysis, syntax analysis and semantic analysis phase are implemented in one unit, constitute of the first pass of the compiler. So since you know it is the front end of the compiler and it is the back end of the compiler, again and again I don't have to tell you, front end and this is back end, right? So then another three parts are being covered in. So output of the first pass is normally a sorted file, right? So first pass you receive the sorted file for the synthesis phase. So and the second pass accepts the file as the input and produces the object program. So such type of things are being if are being done, then we call them as two pass compiler. So I have already shown you pictorially only, so no need to waste time on this. See, we have received the source program and all the three phases are being covered here in pass 1, and in pass 2 we are getting the sorted file. We are receiving the sorted file and that sorted file we are getting in for pass 2, right? So this is the two pass compiler. Let's move to the three pass compiler, right? So what is three pass compiler? If analysis and synthesis of the source program is done in three different passes, then the compiler is called the three pass compiler. Like first four phases are grouped together, so this is pass 1. Then code optimizer is handled differently and code generation is handled differently. So these are the there may be lot of requirement of code optimization. So another complex program is required for code optimization. So in that case we have to make a different pass for code optimization. And then since it is a big and complex program and we have optimized the code and we have received the intermediate code for the optimized code also, then we create a different pass for creating assembly language, right? So we require, because the low language we have received here only, because there is intermediate code generation, na? So we have received low level language here, yeah, low level instructions here only. Now, if there is requirement of code optimization to reduce the space and time, we require by another pass, right? So we are requiring another pass, then we get the optimized intermediate code. Here we have received the intermediate code, right? So now we have received the optimized intermediate code. So we are now converting it into the assembly language. Right. So what is 3-pass? Again, 3-pass is very simple. It is the analysis and synthesis of the source program is done in 3 different passes. Then compiler is called the 3-pass compiler. So we can do all the 4 phases in 1 pass, then code optimization in another pass, and then code generation in 3rd pass. So if we are doing the job in such way, then we say that it is a 3-pass compiler. So here is the detail of what is the pass 1, pass 2 and pass 3 containing. I have already pictorially told you that what the passes are doing here, but let's have a look. That the front end of the phase, such as lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis and intermediate code generation phases, may be grouped into one unit called pass 1. Then pass 1 accepts the source program and produces the intermediate code file. This file is internal and stored in the main memory. In some compilers, the file is also stored in the disk, and hence it is visible when the list of directory, when we list the directory. So in pass 2, the intermediate file created in the pass 1 is input of pass 2. It produces another intermediate code file. Which is the optimized one. So each line in the file contains simple statements or the expression with maximum 2 or 3 operands along with the operator. So, and in pass 3, what we are doing? In pass 3, the optimized intermediate file created in pass 2 is the input of pass 3. So it converts the intermediate code into assembly language program, or we can say it as the target program. So it may have built the assembler that converts the assembly language into the machine code, right? So this was your 3-pass compiler. So we have discussed 1-pass compiler, we have discussed 2-pass compiler, we have discussed 3-pass compiler. So these are the passes. Now 1 pass is left, that is the multi-pass compiler. So what is the job of multi-pass compiler? So it is the type of compiler that processes source code 2 or more times. So the multi-pass compiler are slower but much more efficient when compiling. So multi-pass compilers use these following reasons: by changing the front end of the compiler and retaining the back end of the compiler for a particular target machine. So it is doing the job for a particular type machine. So we have to remember this, that if we are asked that what is the difference between 3-pass and multi-pass, so we have to be sure about it, that it is generating the output for any particular target machine. So it is possible to write compilers for different languages, right? So on similar lines, by retaining the front end and changing the back end of the compiler, it is possible to produce compiler for different target machines. So if there is a feature of a language that requires a compiler to perform more than 1 pass over the source, then multi-pass compiler is used, right? And splitting the compiler up to small programs is a technique used by the researchers and designers interested in the producing, probably correcting the compilers. So proving the correctness of the set of small programs often requires less effort and time than proving the correctness of the larger single equivalent program, right? So these are the usage of that, why we are using the multi-pass compiler, and what is the need of multi-pass compiler, because we have already 2-pass compiler, we have already 3-pass compiler. We can compile our 3 phases in one pass, and another 3 phases in one pass. We can compile the front end phases in one pass, and we can do the back end phases in another pass. Then what is the requirement of multipass? No, the requirement of multipass is that we may have different languages, we can have different target machines to create the assembly language. So for that reason we require the multipass compiler. So this is the complete process of a compiler process. And if we are taking this example that position is equals to initial plus rate plus sigma, so these are the phases. I don't have to tell you because with these are been already discussed in the previous lectures. So these are the phases, that how the each and every phase is working. So if we have given this as a source program, position is equals to initial plus rate plus 60, then what lexical analysis is doing, it is creating the tokens, and then the syntax analysis is creating the parse tree, and the semantic analyzer is again creating the parse tree, but it is also giving the data type of the constant or whatever it is. Then intermediate code generation is assigning the temporary memory. So the 3 address code is being generated here, and after that we are having the code optimizer to generate the optimized version of that intermediate code, and then we are finally generating the assembly language or the target language for that particular machine. And all these things are being arranged in the symbol table, as well as the error handler is displaying the error. One more thing is there, that there is the cross compiler and bootstrapping process also. So what are the cross compilers? The cross compiler is the compiler that runs on one machine and produces object code for another machine. So this one was only remaining cross compiler. So what is the cross compiler? It is the compiler that runs on one machine and produces the object code for the another machine. So the cross compiler is used to implement the compiler, which is characterized by 3 languages, that are source language, target language, implementation language. So if the compiler has been implemented in its own language, then this arrangement is called the bootstrap arrangement. So I think you understand that what is the bootstrap. If the compiler has been implemented in its own language, then this arrangement is called the bootstrap arrangement. So this is how we implement the bootstrap compiler. Let's take it. This is the notation. Here you can see S, T and I. So what is this S? In the previous slide we have told you that there are source language, target language and implementation language. So such is this. This is the source language, target language and implementation language. Alright. So we sometimes say T diagram also. So this is the depiction of bootstrap. So the compilers of there are 2 types of compilers, native compilers and cross compilers. So I think you understand that what is the native compiler. Those are written in the same language as the target language. These are the native compilers. So see how we are creating this. We have 2 compilers, this and this, and we are creating the cross compiler, or native compiler like this. So this is how we are producing the bootstrap. So first we are creating this SAA. Yeah, we have written CSAA, right? Then we have CLAS, right? So now we are combining this. So it's very simple, right? So this is the native compiler, and what is cross compiler? It is written in different languages as the target language. So it is the this is how it works. It compiles like this into this, and then compile this into this. So it is working as the cross compiler, as the definition tells us, right? So there is no big deal in creating the bootstrap. So this was about the passes. Thank you so much. We have studied today about all the types of passes and how we are considering the phases in passes. So this was being discussed today. Thank you. In the further lecture, we will be discussing in detail some examples about the lexical analysis. Thank you.